Welcome to the fourth podcast of the Untitled Podcast with a new guest today, a gentleman I've known for the last 11 years now. He is the CEO of probably the biggest short-term rental company in the UAE, Mr. Harrison Moore. Here he is.
There we go.
Welcome.
Morning, you okay?
I'm very well, H. How are you?
Life is good. Life is always good.
Thank you very much for giving up an hour of your day. I know you're a busy gentleman with 3 companies.
Four.
Four?
Four.
What's the fourth now?
No, we have 4. So we have the property management business, we have the long-term rental business, we have the short-term rental business, and then we have the consulting business with the other 3 short-term rental companies that we head up. There we go.
It's huge, isn't it?
Bits and bobs.
How many properties do you manage now?
Cumulatively 650, 700, somewhere between the two.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Not bad.
The rise of short term has been pretty crazy over the last 3 years since post COVID, really, hasn't it?
I'd say so. I think it's a bit like a floating boat, really. Like what comes in comes out, what comes in comes out. You lose an operator. Like the bigger operators are getting bigger, the smaller operators are kind of like shutting up shop. But no, as a general rule of thumb, I think the market, there's very like speculative numbers, but I think in terms of like listings, there's somewhere between 25 and 30,000 short-term rentals on the market on Airbnb. But obviously, since they did like the cleansing, when, for example, you have to have a DTCM permit, a lot of them units have gone. And like I said, any of these kind of like smaller operators, 50 units or below, they're either shutting up shop, or I think there's a few bigger firms now that are trying to like acquire a lot of these like smaller companies.
Do you think that's the next strategy for vacation, where you start to
Uh,
acquire units? Or
No, not really. I think, unfortunately, you probably in that example, you pick up a lot of the dead weight, really. So you pick up things that have got like false promises, you pick up like bad processes, you pick up untrained staff. Maybe always as an acquisition to pick up a book of properties if there was a nice book of units, but you probably wouldn't want to pick up the processor, you wouldn't want to pick up the staff, you would just want to take the inventory. But there's not that much loyalty in it. So if I was to go and buy a company with 100 short-term rental units, what's to say that them 100 units will still be with me in 6 months' time, 12 months' time? Because usually the loyalty is with the salesperson or the CEO or with the company they fell in love with. And if the company had not fallen in love with and they were sold the dream of, perhaps they might move on to pastures new.
let's jump back to where you started. When did you move here?
June 14.
June 2014. So 11 and a half years ago.
Terrible teeth.
Terrible teeth.
Terrible haircut.
Not much has changed.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, 20 years old. Youngest ever employee at Allsop and Allsop at the time.
Is that record still stand, or
Now they employ 18-year-olds now.
do they?
No, I don't think so. But some real estate companies do.
Yeah, some real estate.
Couldn't even get a beer. Got kicked out of McGettigan's in 2014 for not having an ID that says I was 21 years old.
And now you're one of their
And
pests.
then I threw up in Cree's handbag the same night when I jumped in through the back door.
Oh no. So you moved here when you were 20. Why did you move to Dubai?
It was kind of going through that like weird stage of life. Saved up a couple of pennies, not much. I think it was like £6,000, £7,000. A lot of my friends were kind of like year 2, year 3 of uni. There was me thinking I was kind of like the big time, earning like 20 grand a year as a estate agent, baller, company BMW 1 Series. But no, it was either I was kind of fed up of going out on like student nights where it was like no one could like scrape together a couple of quid. And all my friends were kind of at that same element. And then, one of my friends, Adam Webber, he was working at the same estate agency in England as me. And he moved for Allsop and Allsop, I think, in March. And then, he give my number to Claire Loveday at the time and was like, give this guy a buzz. I think he fancies the move. And then I got a call, I think, April, and I booked my one-way ticket in May.
Did you always want to be an estate agent?
No, I worked at Tesco's. I liked working at Tesco's. No, to be fair, my first ever job was a 14-year-old delivering leaflets for an estate agent. And then I did Saturdays, like as a viewing assistant there.
Yeah.
And then worked for Tesco's. And then I didn't even go and collect my A-level results because I was like, this is completely pointless. I'm not going to uni. Year 2 of college was completely pointless. I was like, I'm going to go take on the big bad world of estate agency. I think it was probably the easiest job to get in England at the time.
Yeah.
I think 2011, there's not many people that want to employ a 17-year-old that's got a haircut that's up here and teeth that are out there.
I was the same. I was like 19 when I got my job in the estate agency.
Yeah. No, it's not like Dubai. It's not like where they've. I don't think a Tesco or Primark suit quite cuts it in Dubai, unfortunately.
No, there is definitely the estate agent look, isn't there? You can almost tell a real estate person when they walk into a bar.
Yeah, like play golf on a Friday, you can just spot every single estate agent that walks in.
Yeah.
On a Friday afternoon when I've got my hair out here again.
Tailored suit, no socks.
Yeah. Laura Piana's on. Usually a Moody Rolly.
Maybe just
Not anymore, I don't think.
I think a lot. I don't know.
I think estate agents used to have Moody Rollies, but I don't think many estate agents have Moody Rollies anymore.
I still think a lot do. I think a lot of people who are quite big on social media as well are definitely faking it, talking about
Do you reckon?
100%.
Nah, like you get these people now that come and start as like an estate agent, and then they're like, month one they can do like 100 grand. Look, don't get me wrong, doesn't happen to everyone, but that 1% just seems like that 1% is just so much bigger now. And to go pick up a rollie for like 30 grand, it's not the end of the world, is it?
Yeah, but I also think that people who are making 100 grand in their first month, they probably should be blowing 33% of it.
Oh, I did. I did. First ever big month at work. Boom, straight rollie. That's what you got to do. Fake it till you make it, but not fake it. You got to look the part, and then you got to look the part and be the part.
Fair enough. Why did you leave real estate then? Obviously, real estate is super lucrative.
Why did I leave real estate? Truth be told, I think I kind of like plateaued like 2016, 2017, was doing quite well. But then probably got a little bit arrogant, I think was probably the best way to describe it. Like on the weekends, didn't really want to like do the viewings, didn't want to get like called out and be like, why'd you not organize that? Why'd you not do that? And then just the gradual decline really. But then I picked up one really good investor that was buying quite a few units through me. Actually owns probably arguably the biggest short-term rental company, Frank Porter. I think they bought like 6 or 7 flats. And I was like, oof, what's going on here? And then they were like, look, do you want to come and join us? Do you want to become our head of sales? So obviously then it was probably just a good time really. I think ultimately didn't know too much about short-term, but I think short-term only really started getting big like end of 17, beginning of 18.
Yeah.
So I think they were the first key player in the market that did it since the new regulations and everything like that, because short-term is still a very like infant industry really in Dubai. I think the first registered company was Frank Porter, and that was like September, October 2017. And yeah, they offered me a job, and it was really, really good. Like it was a very good opportunity. It was a great role, and yeah, just wanted to get into it head first and kind of nail it, signing clients. Everybody was like, oh, short term, there's a big buzz. So it was quite cool, and it was very nice being within the first like 50 operators going out to the market, pitching something, and ultimately taking that like sales knack that you pick up in real estate, making the phone calls, doing the appointments, because no one else was doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, not many people do it now, but to be able to pick up the phone and be a breath of fresh air and say to someone, hi, how are you? Do you want to rent your house out short term? And they're like, oh, what short term? And obviously people here like in the States, in the UK, in Europe, they're like, oh, wow, Airbnb. I find it funny how everyone still refers to short term as, oh, like Airbnb in my house.
Yeah, it's weird when you get that brand actually gets the definition. It's like Hoover. Like Hoover is not actually is not what it is. It's vacuum. But everyone says Hoover because Hoover's actually the brand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there's a word for
I actually thought a Hoover was a Hoover.
No, I can't remember what the word is, but there's a word where it becomes like the company becomes the item.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember what it is, but yeah, Airbnb is the same thing. The same with like booking.com.
It's not quite like a Peroni then.
No, it's just but I mean, maybe like you refer to like, do you want to go for a few Peronis? But you might go to a bar. Actually, you don't go to bars that don't have Peronis, do you?
Would sooner veto it, I think.
Do you know Peroni used to send me beer when Alice used to work at What's On?
I don't understand why you ever gave up any of them perks. Didn't understand.
We haven't.
No, actually, I saw how many 1942s you got the other night, so I think the company perks are still raining in.
They're still coming. Don't worry about that. Short term, obviously, like you say, is still in its infant stages. Someone doesn't know what the difference is between short term and long term rentals. What's like the number one difference or the 2-3 differences that the perk for short term versus long term?
I think again, so similar to what I was saying about short term being a novelty, I think actually property management in Dubai is a bit of a novelty. That's probably our number one biggest selling point is we are a full-time property management company that actually gets into your house 2 or 3 times a month, that is constantly looking out for it, is making sure that chances are it's your number one most valuable asset is getting looked after as much as possible. In certain pockets of Dubai, obviously there is a definite income benefit. I think that has kind of plateaued a little bit in the last couple of years because since post-COVID, obviously the long-term rental price has taken an absolute rocket through the sky. That said, I think the long-term rental prices are coming down quite drastically. I think a lot of people that moved to Dubai paid these overpriced rentals and have now bought. So I think ultimately the cycle is back to its point where these new people need to rent, but they've only got a certain amount of pennies in their pocket. No more is one check is the number. It could be 4 checks again. So yeah, so obviously you get the management, you get the income benefits, and obviously with the Dubai rental laws, we can offer you complete flexibility, whether you want to use the property yourself, whether you want to sell the property, whether you want to rent it out for your friends and family, whether you want to pivot and you want to do something else. We offer that complete flexibility. Whereas if you sign yourself up for a long-term rental contract, you are locked in for probably 2 years.
Do you think that when I look at the short-term rental market, I look at like the prime areas being great because that's tourism, but then you look at people who are doing it in like JVC, and I just see like a massive oversaturation coming in those areas.
Swings and roundabouts, because I think ultimately it's what do you define as the tenant? Like Dubai is now home to obviously 4 million people. And if we were to look at our stats, we're probably 50-50 people that book with a +971 number or people that book with an overseas number. So we're not solely reliant on the tourists coming in to fill our properties. It could be someone that doesn't have the deposit, the broker fee, the Ajari, the DEWA deposit, the Empower deposit, the Do deposit, the furniture to go, and the first check to go and sign up for something. So they want to take a monthly pay-as-you-go type scenario. It could be someone that's new to country that doesn't know where they want to live. They might take JVC as their base, and then they say, you know what, I don't like JVC. It's got a bit of traffic. Me getting to my office in DIFC is too much. But they use that as a bit more of a focal point. And then another one is people that are doing renovations. They just want something that's budget, that's close to their accommodation. They could be doing a renovation in the Springs. They want to be close by. Could be a 6-month, but they want to be able to dot in and out whenever they can. Similar to you in the Greens, like you're not in a short term, but because you knew your renovation might take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But you want to have something that's close. Another one we're seeing is someone's having, because at our age, a lot of people are having kids. It could be you live in JVC and there's a short-term rental in your building. You want to bring your mum and dad over to come and stay with you for the first 6 months whilst you have your kid. So there's so many different types of tourism. It's not, I'm going to come out for a week, I'm going to go on brunch, I'm going to go to the beach, I'm going to get a tan, and I'm going to find a boyfriend. It could be so many different, it could be so many different types of tourism.
So do you think when people are buying properties and they're thinking, I'm going to stick it on short term, the agents should be educating people better than just, you should throw this on short term, you're going to get a load of tourists?
I think there is an element of education. I think there's obviously, it's countless how many times we get asked for like a projection to manipulate the numbers to be able to say that this owner will make this. I think, for example, an Emaar beachfront unit, good friend of mine ended up buying it, and he was like, oh, Harrison, what shall I do? And I was like, long term, short term, it's probably about the same. And he's like, oh, I've told the agent I bought it off has said I can rent it for $500,000 on short term. And I was like, it's a 2-bed overlooking the construction. I'm not quite so sure that's a doer. I said, probably will make you like 225, 250. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. And he was like, wow. But he's coming at the end of the month. He's going to stay there for 2 weeks. He can kind of knock it around. But it's amazing how many agents would really manipulate the numbers just to try and get it over the line.
Yeah.
Look, I do think that's maybe a 21, 22 tactic. I don't think it's as common anymore. But yeah, as a general rule of thumb, people saying you can get this bananas money, it's not quite there anymore.
I see it quite a lot in Ras Al Khaimah, which I know we've spoken about before, like quite a lot off camera, where obviously there's a lot of hype around this being a big tourist destination. Like, what's your thoughts as like an owner of a short-term rental company that has the data on how much it costs to stay in like Marina, which is also a prime residential area? Like, what do you think is actually going to happen in RAC when all these units hand over?
look, at the end of the day, you need a market. You need people to live there full time. You need people to live there short term. Like I said, it's all of these other things help us with our rental returns on short term. Like, you're not making the 2 or 3 nighters that come in on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're not the ones that make you the money. And ultimately, if you have someone that stays Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it's vacant for 4 days, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, vacant 4 days. In a short-term rentals, you have it. They call it a RevPAR. So you have the ADR and you have the occupancy, and blended together, that gives you a RevPAR. So, okay, fair enough. You could rent it for maybe 1,000 dirhams a night, 3 nights on the weekend, but then the 4 nights you're empty in the week, that brings your RevPAR down to 400.
Yeah.
So ultimately, 400 times 30, it starts really drastically bringing the numbers down. And ultimately, look, like, okay, I went to Vegas, and it's like, I think we paid like $400 a night to stay in the hotel. Good hotel, not one of the best. Like, I think it was entry level 5-star. But the Dubai hotel prices are so reasonable. Okay, yeah, you've got the casino, but it's only an hour away. And for example, if you're going to be a decent player at the Win, they'll pick you up in a Rolls Royce. They'll probably pick you up in helicopters. They'll be able to do stuff. Okay, it's going to be amazing. But Marshall Arab, Royal Atlantis, Dubai, plus you've only got to take a helicopter or something down there.
Yeah.
Look, I think the Win's going to be half the price. So if the Win, let's say, for example, me and Dunya stayed in Marshall Arab. Look, it was middle of the summer, but it was like 3,000 dirhams a night.
Yeah.
Probably peak season is probably going to be about 5. Based on that, a November price in RAC is going to be about 2.5.
Yeah.
And we're usually probably a quarter of the price.
I think Atlantis the Royal this weekend, the opening Carbone opening weekend, when they brought industry like leading guests, like international DJs and stuff over, and they're all staying in the hotel. Even that was still, I think with 2 nights, it was like 4,900 dirhams.
Yeah,
which is,
it's mental. Like,
you got helicopter port at Atlantis, so you could go down there. You could jump on a helicopter. Win has a helicopter port. You can fly to the Win, in like 15 minutes.
And ultimately, I think hotels are really fighting back against short-term rentals. So I don't really see a massive perk of a short-term rental for like 1, 2, or 3 nights.
Yeah.
Like, if you're staying 1, 2, or 3 nights, you want to embrace the lifestyle, and you want to embrace, like, you want to go down to the nice bar on the ground floor. You want to go to the pool. You want to have someone serve you a cocktail when you're sat by the pool. You want someone to lay you a towel down. You want your room turned down. You want all these kind of like perks.
Yeah.
Look, I think a short-term rental really starts to play into its real strengths when you're staying 7 to 10 nights. Dunya and I, we went to France in the summer. We ended up staying in one hotel for like 14 nights. It was probably one of the biggest mistakes of my whole trip, because you know what? You don't want to play with that like crappy telly. You don't want to order a Pizza Hut and eat it on your bed. You want to be able to like sit on a sofa and relax and chill out, and you know what? Have a bit of downtime, which you need to have in 7 to 10 nights. But on the same flip side, we went to Monaco for 3 nights, and you want to be in a hotel. You want to be in the middle of it. You want to go to the bar. You want to go to the pool. You want to do all these bits and bobs. So
Yeah.
yeah, a short-term rental that's trying to rely on a 3-nighter when you're competing against when you're competing against an incredible hotel that's not going to be that much more expensive, and also fighting with the novelty of hotel versus short-term stay. Look, fingers crossed it happens, and obviously there's loads more stuff going down there, and obviously I think it's like picking up Dubai in its infancy, but ultimately I think people were paying like 3,000 dirhams a square foot.
I don't know if there's common knowledge yet, but Win have taken the space next to the casino, and they're building another tower.
Yeah. So again, how many hotel keys are going to get handed over?
1,500 in the first tower, and then I think like another 500-600 in the second.
Yeah.
Then Win in Vegas has 4,000 keys.
Yeah, that place is mental,
Right.
crazy busy. But then obviously, look, it depends on what sort of relationship Dubai's got with Ras Al Khaimah or Abu Dhabi's got with all of these things. Like, we've got Jitex coming on Monday. What's to say Jitex might not get moved to Ras Al Khaimah, and that becomes like a new exhibition space, and then they demolish World Trade Center, and that becomes apartments. And like, that's the great thing about UAE. Like, these guys, they work together. They know they're like, Abu Dhabi will play with this guy, and Al Quwain will play with this guy, and everyone will have their own little feature. Like, if you take into account the exhibition business that Vegas has,
yes,
if you can drive all of that down there, then there could become something a little bit different.
I think that's going to be a struggle though, because obviously we built Expo, the biggest exhibition center in the world. There.
Yeah.
They're
No,
not
but
gonna-
Expo was for Expo, but it depends. Like I said, these guys are like, you know what? You can have this, and you can have this, and you can have this. So we'll see. Like, we'll see. I think as it stands right now, with the current master plan that's in Ras Al Khaimah, with what has been launched and what is available, I think it's a bit of a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But no, but in reality, it's just we will see. We will see. I think if I look at Dubai 10 years ago when I moved here, like versus what Dubai is today, like anything is possible in this place.
Very, very different from 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's not a stagnant place like stagnant sleepy town like where I'm back from back home.
No.
Like I drove there. I don't know. Even when I used to go on holiday when I was a kid, I used to come back and I was there for like away for 10 days, and I was thinking, oh my god, everything must have changed. Don't know why I thought that when I was on holiday, but I hadn't been to my like family home for like 6-7 years maybe, and I was thinking, oh yeah, everything's going to have changed, and it was literally everything was exactly the same. I'm pretty sure my parents still had the same sofa.
Probably the same roadworks outside that they've been doing for 6 or 7 years.
Oh, there's some tragic roadworks nowadays. They are really bad. Like, you don't really understand how thin the roads are in England as well.
Yeah. When you're motoring down the A1 at like 70 miles an hour.
Oh, Jesus.
It's not like Shakespeare Road, is it?
But because your eyes as well, they change based on how you drive in Dubai. And you're expecting that's where the white line is, and that's where the white line is. And you've got loads of give. But then obviously you flip what side of the car you're on as well.
Yeah.
You end up in a few squeaky positions.
I remember when I went back in, didn't I go back 2020? And I was working for my brother, and I was driving one of the construction trucks, and I was at a traffic light, and I went forward, and I turned left. I wasn't really paying much attention. I was just like, as I've turned, I'm facing the car head on. I'm like, why is this dickhead on the wrong side of the road? And I was like, oh no, it's me. I'm the one who's on the wrong side of the road.
No, it is tragic. It is tragic. No, but then obviously you look at like Rome or something like that, and people having to drive like these little smart cars just to be able to park.
Them top gear when they're
Tragic.
versing into each other, trying to park in the little spaces. Yeah, Dubai has changed a lot in the last 10 years. Like
Yeah.
I think the way people socialize as well has changed,
Mm-hmm.
because it used to be the case that Thursday night,
Thursday night.
it was
Calabar Mahiki.
Calabar Mahiki. There was only 2 places that we would ever go, and then
Calabar 360 Mahiki.
yeah, you got to throw 360 was class, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a shame they knocked that down actually, because there's
that new bar that's going to go above that new Italian Iliana roof that's about to open is going to be like 360 on steroids.
Is it?
It is going to be incredible.
I did like 360 though.
It was cool.
When you got on the buggy and
Yeah.
you're going down to the side, like. But the whole of the Dubai has changed, and I get what you're saying about Ras Al Khaimah as it stands today. Would I probably invest there? No, but in the next 10 years, I think it's going to be absolutely mega.
It's like me saying I live on Blue Waters. I should have bought it 10 years ago. If I bought it 10 years ago, I'd have saved a fair few quid.
You'd be this time next year.
Yeah. This time next year, I will be a millionaire.
You would be a millionaire if you'd bought on Blue Waters.
Yeah. I think the prices have come down there a little bit, but yeah, for sure. Like you would have paid like 2.5-3 million for a 2-bed, and I think they got to like nearly 7.5-8 million.
What do you think the future holds for vacationer?
Future holds for vacationer. Look, I think we'll just continue doing what we're doing. I think we have a small problem, just like I said, with this saturation of the market. There are a lot of units in there, but I think us really coming through as a key top player is helping us out. My real goal is to really like boost the nightly rates that we can sell our properties for. I think the value add that we're giving to the guests is starting to come into fruition, and we're starting to get a lot more like repeat guests. Ultimately, we have a review score on Airbnb, 4.81. We've got like 4,300 reviews on our profile. I would challenge most operators in the world to see who actually has a stronger quality Airbnb profile than us with as many units as we have. But yeah, obviously because of that 5-star experience that we give to the guests, we're getting a lot of guests that come back to us. And obviously when we can convert them to a direct reservation as opposed to a Airbnb reservation, we're cutting out the Airbnb commission, of which they've just increased it again.
For you or the guest?
So when you connect to a PMS, property management system, the guest doesn't pay a fee. But now they're converting it so that no one pays a fee, full stop. But they've put the fee up to 15.5% of the gross.
So if people are looking on Airbnb and they see your property, if they contact you directly, can they get?
So then they can go onto my website, and we probably offer a price that's maybe 5-6% cheaper than Airbnb. So then obviously everybody wins. Guest gets a slightly better price. We obviously make a little bit more commission, and the owner makes a little bit more money. Everybody wins.
Oh, so it is a win-win situation.
Everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to win. We don't give it only to the guests. We want to give it to the owner. But I think if we were to compare 2022, we were probably like 5% direct reservations. And if we look at Q3, we were about 42% direct bookings.
Oh, so it really is growing then,
Yeah.
going strength to strength. Is that something you focus on as a business?
Yeah, for sure. Like I've taken a very kind of like real estatey model into it. We really incentivize our check-in agents to convert direct bookings. Obviously, they get paid commission weekly. Like we've seen some of them take home some really, really amazing paychecks. Average check-in agent for another company could be earning $5,000. We've probably paid out 20 plus to pretty much every single one of them, 1 month or another.
Wow.
Mm.
It's a lot of money, that is, for...
Like I probably one of my obviously, besides what I've been able to create for myself, like I think that's probably my number one success story. Every single person that works for me has made more money than they've ever made before in their entire life.
You have been very successful, like because I've known you a long time, and I think you've had, trying to work it in my head now, 4 companies?
Yeah.
You've been very successful at every single company you've worked at, but you also have a very like addictive and obsessive personality. Do you think that's like translates into your work?
I think it's just one of them. Like if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, isn't it? Really, I think that's the cringiest statement ever.
It's the clickbait.
No, but seriously, it's the luxury of obviously being a slightly larger operator is ultimately you can silo your business in so many different ways. And if you've got one amazing player in that position, one amazing player in that position, one amazing player in that position, like life becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like I have 3 of the best senior managers in my business I could ever dream of. And another bit of clickbait, like I think Branson said, like you employ the best people you possibly can, you give them every single tool you possibly can to succeed, and you just leave them alone and get out of their way and let the experts be the experts. And as long as I continue feeding them as much as they need to be fed, I think it kind of works.
What does a day in the life look like for Harrison Moore?
What is a day in the life? Unfortunately, it's not actually that much. There's that's
I'm
terrible.
not sure that's unfortunate.
I'm not sure you should be putting this on camera. No, seriously though, it's very much so just being available for whatever. I think that's the best way to describe it. Being the CEO, obviously, first 2-3 years, it's very much so like cash flow management. Do we have this coming into the bank? Strategic decisions, moving forwards. But now it's just being there to help and chew the fat on something. You can talk about something, and like what could very easily be a quick, oh, we've got a small problem with this accounting flaw, or we've got a small problem with this guest, or we've got a small problem in this, and we're just, what do you think? That could be a 20-second bit of clickbait that turns into a 2-hour, 3-hour conversation.
Yeah.
And you can, I think that's what the best CEOs really should be doing. They should be viewing their business from like a kind of like a helicopter perspective, seeing something and saying, you know what, I'm going to give that 3 hours of my time. I'm going to give that 4 hours of my time. I'm going to work with this person. You see this person's a little bit upset, you take them for a beer. There's so many things you can do. But no, ultimately as well, it's I must say the freedom that comes with being the CEO, because I have such strong players in my business. That's the ultimate luxury, really. I bought back a lot of my time, I think is the best way to describe it.
Yeah. I know quite a lot of your senior managers as well. Good people.
Amazing.
Good golfers as well.
Gray. Alfie's very good. He's a very good golfer.
Very good golfer. Very good guy. Also, when I was on the golf course with him, I think me and him were in the buggy, and we were both still working, and you were...
Yeah. I was nailing loads of pines.
I don't think we can say who else was there, because I don't think he should have been on the golf course at 12 o'clock on a Friday.
Could be anyone now.
Could be
anyone.
Could be anyone.
You know who you are.
Yeah, you do know who you are. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what is next for Harrison Moore? Not vacation now. What's the next thing that Harrison Moore wants to accomplish?
Accomplish. Look, I've not been in the property market. I want to try and get myself. I want to buy a house. That's obviously a personal goal. I think obviously whether it be vacation or ultimately your business drives your life, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest hole that we have in our business is we do have a relatively large burn rate. We do lose quite a few landlords. Maybe the long-term rentals are a little bit better or whatever. I don't mind if a client leaves us because they've sold the house. I don't mind if a client leaves us because they've want to move back into the house. But if we lose a client because they go to another operator, or if they rent their property out long term, then ones sting a little bit. So I really want to try and work on the growing and scaling the long term and property management business.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my number one goal for next year. And then ultimately, it's give it my all. I think the great thing personally when it comes to business is I only do the short-term rentals. Whether I do slightly different variations of the short-term rentals, I only do the short-term rentals. I think people that try and nail everything, it's what's that phrase? It's jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
I consider myself a master of short-term rentals, and I have no aspiration to go anywhere else. I love being the fact that companies can refer us short-term rentals because they're confident that we're not going to try and sell their client a property, or we're going to try and nab their client.
I think that's a difficult one where traditional real estate companies have now set up short-term rental companies, and they only have one feeder, which is their own business. Because as another real estate company, I would never refer business to a real estate company. Like that would just be silly. So you've nailed it in terms of like you just want to own this property management short-term rental space. How much of your business comes from like referrals, and how much comes from direct?
So I was talking to Harry the other day, my sales manager, Alfred's brother, and I think we've paid out on vacation. We've paid out just over 1 million dirhams this year in referral commissions. So I wouldn't even know what that is as a percentage of revenue, but no, I would say probably 25% of our business comes from referrals. But as I said, it could be, you could work for a big real estate company, you could work for a small real estate company or whatever. Like you just want to know your client's going to get given somewhere, you want them to be looked after. So I think we look after we look after quite a lot. And whether it's a referral from a real estate company, or if it's a referral from a current client, or if it's a referral from a friend, like they're always your best business, right? A referral is always going to be your best business. And if they come with a vote of confidence, then that's always a winner.
If people want to refer you business, how do they get in touch?
Just drop me a DM on Instagram.
Do you know on
Now contact us on Vacationer page.
Vacation on Instagram?
Vacationer Instagram. You get a little caption, maybe put it there.
Yeah, maybe throw that up.
Maybe do that.
I can't do that. Hopefully the editing.
We can find a way. We can find a way. Yeah. So obviously refer a business. We offer a very good referral scheme, and like ultimately we don't want to compete against the long-term business again. So if you are a real estate agent, you do long-term rentals, we don't want to rob you for commission. We will give you the same 5% and you will get it on a quarterly basis. So let's say we rent your unit for 100 grand. Obviously you would make 5,000 dirhams renting it long-term.
Yeah.
But we're going to give you 5,000 dirhams. Look, we're going to drip feed it 1250, 1250, 1250, 1250. But someone might have referred me a unit in 2022 and they've been receiving that same 1250, 1250, 1250, 1250 for the last 3 years.
So if someone refers you business,
They get a lifelong referral.
That's really good.
Yeah. Because ultimately it gives them an incentive to not compete against us as well, right?
Yeah.
Like as long as their client's making money and if they're also getting their hands buttered, as it were, they're happy. Is that the right phrase? Hands buttered?
I've never heard that.
Yeah, no, right.
Just roll with it.
Why not?
You've created a new phrase there.
I said it twice now.
And if people want to book directly with you,
Yeah.
same situation. Visit
Have a website.
Visit the website.
Visit the website. No, look, we want to really automate it. We really want to automate it so people would just go onto our website, very transactional, like a booking.com or Airbnb, or going on Amazon even. You're going to buy a pair of socks, you go on Amazon, you press click. But we understand that obviously a house is a lot more expensive, so you can contact us, we can arrange a viewing, we can do this, we can do that. I think that's something that we also do a lot more than any other country in the world. Airbnb obviously is very restrictive. They won't give mobile numbers, they won't give maps, they won't give videos. If you see us on Airbnb, you can obviously contact us from Google. You give us a buzz, and one of our 12 guest relations managers can obviously just give you a buzz and they can show you the house or whatever like that.
I think that's one of the most frustrating things about Airbnb is when you're booking them and you just can't see, like, you go into another country. I think actually the most frustrating thing about Airbnb is you go to another country and then like up to about 12 hours before you get there, you don't know what the situation is with keys.
Yeah, no, we don't do that. We from the minute you book, you get put in contact with our guest relationship manager, and then they are your one isolated point of contact up until the point that you book again to come in again next year.
It's just single point of contact.
One isolated point of contact.
Yes.
Because no, you don't want to have that uncertainty. You don't want to have, where am I going to pick up the keys tomorrow?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, we're probably not perfect, but I would say 99% of the time that's literally what would be happening. like I saw it with my previous business, not Frank Porter, the one in the middle, which we don't speak about. You would find that if you've got a maintenance problem, you've got to contact the maintenance line. You want some new bed sheets, you've got to clean the cleaning line. You want to have a late checkout, you got to call that guy. You want to send your passports, you got to call that guy. Why has a guest got to make the experience so difficult? And you've got to speak to 10 different people to get 10 different answers. With us, we just train the right guys to answer every question. And it just makes and that, again, I probably would credit that. That's the reason why we have such a high review score, because they have that personal accountability to someone. And I think as a general, like, that also really helps us as a business, that we don't have guests that go in and like batter the apartments. We don't have guests that overstay. We don't have these things, because they feel like they've got a personal connection with someone that they might not have built with somebody else.
Yeah.
None of this, the keys are under the mat, check yourself in. They don't even know someone. So they're like, oh, well, there's not someone that I can attach this to. But if they meet Alex, they meet Salim, they meet Kolev, they meet Weil, and they've talked them through, they've shown them the swimming pool, they've shown them the shots, they've shown them the flat, they've shown how the washing machine works. It's unlikely they're gonna, because if they batter the house, they're almost gonna give Weil or Alex or Kolev or Riyadh, they're gonna give them more work.
Yeah, because if you've liked someone, you're more likely as well. If you have a complaint, you're like, oh, actually, I just message them because I know that they've shown me around, they're giving me good service, they're just going to sort it straight away.
Exactly.
And like, problems do happen. You see us stay at a 5-star hotel. I stayed at a 5-star hotel in Dubai, and like, there was water coming through the ceiling. I'm not going to say which one it was, but
no, for sure. Look, if you go into anything, like, don't get me wrong, I think Airbnb, with the review culture and the complaint culture and the ability to get refunds very, very easily because a fly came into your flat, and you can make it out, you can blow it up to its extremity and it gets sent to some sales agent that's working offshore or whatever, like, has no real understanding of the situation. It's his word versus my word, and ultimately it's a very guest favored platform.
Yeah.
Like, and people have that complaint culture where they know they're going to get something back. But again, I would dare say we probably do a lot better, like, because at the end of the day, they might not go to Airbnb, they might pick up the phone and say, you know what. But I also have that kind of like that kind of concept where it's only going to cost you, let's say for a week in downtown, it might cost you 1,000 dirhams a night, plus the cleaning fee, plus the taxes. You might be all in for like £1,500, £1,800. You get what you pay for, right?
Yeah.
For sure. Like, if you're paying $1,000, $2,000 a night for a hotel and it's naff, you might be pretty upset.
Yeah.
But if you're paying 7,000-8,000 dirhams for a place in Dubai for a week,
yeah, I think people have like a weird perception about what they expect, but also I think that comes down to budgets. That some people they save up all their lives to come to Dubai for like a single week, and they expect it to be amazing. But then there's other people who just come to Dubai like 3 or 4 times a year, and they know exactly what to expect. So I think it's also like a perception thing where people are coming to the city and they see a lot of stuff that is all glitz and glamour, and it's actually not like that most of the time if you live here.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a normal place to live.
No, I think we're very lucky with some of our guests, whether they're tourists or whether they're the other type of tourists I was telling you about earlier. Like, we're very lucky with them people coming to Dubai, and they're used to what like a European Airbnb is, or they're used to like European standards. So if I've got a problem, okay, we'll call a plumber, he'll be there in 3 days. Or and then you might be paying €1,000 a night to stay in that hotel. Whereas you're getting so much more bang for your buck. Like, that's one big thing I want to try and overcome, really. Like, if I can overcome the stereotype that Dubai is this overpriced metropolis, and people are like, oh, actually Dubai is no more expensive than spending 2 weeks in Calais. I don't know, a bad example, like Barcelona.
So actually
something like that.
To come here for a week and stay in an Airbnb is not expensive either, is it?
No, but even to go out is not that expensive. Like, as I said, was in France, like, to buy a beer, it could be easily €15.
Yeah.
To buy the most expensive beer in Dubai, I think it will cost you like 65 dirhams. So it's actually cheaper. No, it's about the exchange rate. It's about the same. But yeah, here in Dubai, you can pick, obviously, there's parts of Spain you can pick up a beer for €1. Like, just depends on where you want to be. Not a Peroni though.
Not Peroni.
Don't get Peroni for €1 anywhere in the world.
Nice. Not left.
Sponsored. That could be a sponsor.
Not unless it fell off the back of a lorry.
Yeah.
I'd love to get Peroni to sponsor it. You know, that's what I really want.
I reckon Peroni Zero they'll probably get up on there. You should call that Lewis's friend, that Drink Dry.
Yeah.
She sells Peroni Zeros.
Or the Corona Zero as well. Yeah, the Corona Zero actually tastes like Corona.
Really?
Yeah, it's really
I
good.
need to try that Guinness Zero.
No, that's sacrilege.
But I just think the 0% alcohol should not be the price that 0% alcohol is. It should be the same price as a Coke.
You're absolutely right, because the reason why, especially in the UK, the reason why alcohol is so expensive is because of the duty tax on it,
Mm.
and the reason why alcohol in Dubai is so expensive is because of the 30% tax that the government charge on it.
Mm.
But there's no 30% tax on 0% alcohol, so why are you charging me 30% of the tax?
Import duty, maybe. But yeah, like a Heineken Zero bottle in reform would be like 45 dirhams, but a Peroni bottle would be 45 dirhams as well,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
which is strange.
It is there.
But they do draft Guinness Zero in reform.
Yes.
Never had one, but
We should go
it
for it.
would be interesting to have the full works.
I want to take the podcast to a pub. So the next one, I want to be in a pub and,
Dresses on the hunt for a sponsor.
and having a drink with someone. I've
Nice.
got a couple of people in mind. I've also come up with a name, the JP Pintcast.
The JP Pintcast.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, if we do it over a pint,
Over a pint is a pintcast.
very schooner scorer style.
Yeah, I'm not going to nail pints on the podcast.
Yeah, you could do.
Let's just start the first
There's
one.
only so many pints you can drink in an hour. Well, that could be a challenge. That could be a challenge. Oh, I've got Rhino on the podcast. He's here from USCO. Rhino, how many pints do you reckon you had to do in the next hour?
That gig can drink.
And he'll be like, oh, Joshy, I reckon I can do 7 pints.
He
And then you'll have the next challenger. And then you get like Dan Maloney on the podcast and he'll be like, I'll do 7 Diet Cokes.
Right, we'll leave it there before we go down the hole.
No.
Get ourselves in trouble.
No.
What time is it?
10 o'clock.
Ah.
5 to 10.
5 to 10. Perfect. Thank you for coming, Harrison.
No worries, mate.
Lovely to see you as always.
No worries. Thank you so much.
Let's go to the pub.
There we go.